Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon on this Friday afternoon. And we're so grateful to God we made it through another week. Made it through another week. I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated, where we have the great privilege and the honor, and most of all, the God assignment to render hope, encouragement, and inspiration to you, our audience, for 365 days. And we're grateful to God for the opportunity to do that. I'm going to bring in my co-host.
Hello, everyone. My name is Takira Swan, and I am so happy to be here with you today on this beautiful, beautiful Friday. So before we get started with our amazing guests, who I adore so much, I would like all of you to go to our YouTube page, like, share, subscribe, so that you can be a part of our team. That is how you can help us spread hope, encouragement, and inspiration to the entire world.
To the entire world. We always want to double that with another witness to the entire world. Well, today, our guest today is Dinahsta Thomas. She's going to share a little bit more about who she is, what she does, and what's going on with her, at least on today. Thank you so much, Dinahsta, for accepting our invitation to come. Thank you so much. Today, we're going to be talking to dog owners. That's exciting. Dog owners. We're going to be talking to dog owners and what the different ways dogs can complement our lives, different ways dogs can enhance our lives and what they can do for us. It is amazing. I learned some more things myself about dogs and what they incur in our lives. Listen to this. Dogs have an effect on our human health, emotional well-being. They help our immune system, great company. They help us with exercise. Of course, you already know that they're called man's best friend. They help you to meet new people. Wait a minute, I got a couple more things because I know Dinahsta is going to elaborate on all of this, but this is some of the stuff I learned. Listen to this one. The dogs help with our blood pressure. Did you know? And that's a study from Harvard University. So it's not that I'm making this stuff up. It really happens. Dogs teach our kids responsibility. A lot of people need to get some dogs with it. Never mind. And listen to this one. Kids have fewer days at home because of sickness, just because they have a dog. They cope better and they help us to recover from personal trauma. It's amazing, all those things that a dog can do in our lives. But today, now I'm not a dog owner, but it's very interesting. But then again, you know that Project 365 is going to bring you information on topics that I may not know about, you may not know about, but we will definitely be informed. And in those topics, we are gaining hope, encouragement, and inspiration. And today, Dinahsta is going to bring us great information about having a dog in her life. Not a dog, two dogs in her life. And we're thankful for the information that she's going to bring us, as well as share with us a trauma situation or experience that occurred in her life with the dogs and how it affected her. So we're going to step back, Dinahsta. You've got the platform. Do your thing.
Thank you so much, both Portia and Takira. It's always an honor to be asked to do anything, but I have a personal love and respect for the both of you. So, I am doubly honored to be here on 365 and sharing on this topic, which happens to be near and dear to my heart. So as Portia indicated, my name is Dinahsta Thomas. I'm also known as Miss Kiane. I'm a poet, and I know it. I'm usually in this platform or something similar, spitting poetry or sharing or facilitating a workshop. I'm more than just a poet. I am a pet parent, a pet lover, and even an advocate, I would say, for pets. My pet of choice happens to be dogs. and I'll talk further about why I made that distinction, and that's today's show. So I am a poet, but I'm also a pet parent, and today I wanted to share some of my experiences. I grew up in a household where we had my grandmother and my mother were my primary caregivers. My grandmother specifically was adamant about taking care of all the animals in the community. Okay. And so we often took in strays, usually dogs, but she had stray cats. She'd feed the cats. Excuse me, my grandmother would feed the birds. I mean, I think she was feeding the raccoon one time at one point. I don't know. But my grandmother was very adamant. And as a Christian woman, hear this, there's a philosophy that it was ingrained in me. And I don't know if it's in the Bible, but this is what she taught me, which is, if you are a Christian, if you say you love God, then you should treat God's animals with love and care. You should take care of them. Anybody who's cruel to animals, there's a question about the love of God in their heart. It was an intense connection that she made between caring for animals and God. And again, I'm not saying that's in the Bible. I'm just saying it was a principle that I was raised with. So on the Saturday mornings while my friends were out playing, I was told, go call the kitties so they can eat their food. So I have to be outside calling the kitties, or go get that molded bread. We're going over here to the park to feed the birds. And that's kind of how I was raised. And we never purchased our dogs. We always rescued them. My grandmother would maybe find strays, and if she didn't take them in, she'd maybe see if she can rehabilitate them herself, or that was how we always did things. So even when I became in the place to as an adult to have my own dog, it's not my grandmother's dog and I'm a part of the family, it's my dog. I knew immediately I wasn't going to, and that's just me, I'm there's no judgment here. I knew that I was going to go to rescue or go to adopt a dog. There's so many dogs out here that get lost and are strayed. So many dogs, unfortunately, that are in homes where they're being mistreated. There are in the kill shelters where they don't adopt out dogs, they just euthanize them. So I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So I immediately went on this, not immediately, when I got to a place where I felt comfortable, where I can afford it and I could be consistent, I went and started the adoption process and searching. So here's the deal. I got this dog. I named him Brody. He's a Cairn Terrier. Cairn Terriers, by the way, it's the same dog as Toto. Everyone knows Toto from The Wizard of Oz. That's my first personal dog of my own. And I literally, from day one, yes, I was very acquainted with dogs and I love dogs, but from day one, the cliche, this is my road dog. Brody was truly my road dog. We're early in the game. I picked him up. I really wasn't fully prepared. I think I just got a bedding or whatever. And within days, we were taking a trip to the Eastern Shore to bury my grandfather. I hadn't even named him fully. I was battling between two names. So he didn't even have a name yet. And already he was with me, right, during a time of loss, immediately in the game. I brought him home. He bonded, found something in my house and was immediately connected. And we started our process of training and getting to know. But from the beginning, he was with me through a loss from the early on stages. And so it's very important to understand that they can be companions and they can be company, they can be soothing in times of difficulty, right? Here's something I want to share about the whole dog thing. I mentioned before adoption and how it's important for me to adopt and to rescue, because I felt like there are plenty of animals out here that could receive love and be just as a great dog as a purebred something else. And I wanted that to be very key. When I decided to get this dog, though, as an adult, as a full-on adult, now I was in my 30s when I finally was able to I was like, I'm ready to get dog or dogs in my life. I'm thinking I'm going to have this dog I can train, and maybe he can go open the refrigerator, maybe, and get something. The dogs do all kind of different things. I'm thinking I can have this dog to do. I can give these things to the dog. Right? I'm gonna give him a home, make sure he's safe. And of course, that's what we're doing. But what I learned in this process, that the dog provided so much for me. Here's the thing, like Portia mentioned, they can provide exercise and support. It taught me some principles or reiterated some principles. For example, commitment. I live in an apartment complex. I don't have my own outdoor space. That requires that I have to walk him at multiple times a day versus let you go out in the yard, which gave me another sense of commitment. If I'm going to travel, I had to think about what am I going to do with this other entity that needed to be watched. So that meant I needed to be disciplined with my money. How am I going to save to include him in my travel, in my planning, in my fun time, in my not so, all of that was important. It taught me discipline because when the snow happens, because I don't want to be outside in the cold. I don't like late fall because it's raining. I hate cold rain. Cold rain just works for me. I love summer rain, but cold rain, I'm like, I can't do it, Captain. He had to go outside. And I wanted to, and I knew that when I said yes to getting a dog, I was saying yes to more than just having a cute puppy. I was saying yes to a lifetime or a period of time of having to be committed and dedicated, whether it's raining, snowing, whatever is going on, right? It taught me consideration. Like I said, it's not just you. It's not just me. I can say I'm gonna have cereal today. I can say I'm a fast. I ain't got no money. I'm not going grocery shopping, whatever. The dog need to eat, right? And so it taught me that there's something beyond myself. So, and with that stated, going back to some of the things, Portia, you mentioned, when I had times, and I had plenty of them. My grandfather was my first, he passed away, and my dog, I just got him. So he was with me through that process. And I've suffered or endured or experienced, whatever way you want to say it, losses of family members since that time. And so what happens as a result of this bond that's being formed, because he's teaching me, right? I think I'm doing something for him, but he's also teaching me. This dog, this pet, many pet parents will understand this, is present while you're experiencing life, right? While you're experiencing life. I happen to be a single woman, so I come home and I have to be the one to cook and clean or whatever's going on. There's no one else to go get Chinese food tonight. That's me. But when life is happening, when I'm experiencing depressed times, when my grandmother passed away, my father passed away, when I lost jobs, okay, this pet, this little doggy is still looking at me saying in his own way, right, that, hey, we're gonna make it, we're gonna get this together, because you're the leader of this pack. Dogs are pack animals. They establish hierarchy when they're in their group. So there's always a leader in a dog pack that they've established and understood. And then there's someone, and the rest are subservient. But when you own a dog or dogs, you are supposed to be the leader of the pack. And so with that stated, even when I felt like I'm a failure, the dog is still saying, but I trust you because you're the leader of this pack and we're going to be all right. Right? I'm here. So when you come home, I'm happy to see you. I know they weren't happy to see you at work, but I'm happy to see you. So what happens as a result, there's a bond that's forming. Like a baby, babies don't know how to speak right away. So you have to learn as a parent, you have to learn what that cry means. This cry means hunger. This cry means diaper needs to be changed. Well, this bark means I'm hurting. This bark means I'm hungry. This bark means I got to go outside. So you still have to learn. There's a way of communicating with one another. I'm not saying I'm a dog whisperer, but there's a way of understanding what the language is. And similarly, our pets pick up on what we are experiencing. I don't know if you guys remember this, like a tsunami. I remember I never even knew what that was, and the big, large tsunami that happened. If you remember some of the stories, the animals, the wildlife, the elephants, they knew that the tsunami was coming before it came because they could feel it, they could sense it, they could hear the vibrations that's underground. They can sense that there's an actual vibration that's happening. Similarly, we put off energy and vibration, and our pets can pick up on that. They can sense disease, they can smell disease and infection. I have my other small dog here with me. She's kind of timid right now, Jelly Bean. When my other dog, Brody, is maybe not feeling well or has a patch on his skin, she will sniff and stay there on him. And it lets me know, check that spot. Every time she does it, I check the spot and I find something and I got to take him to the vet. So they sense those things. And similarly, when we're sad, when we're extra happy, when we're depressed, they sense that. And so what happens is they find themselves being closer to you, maybe following you a little bit more around the house. I know it seems silly, but they actually are doing that. Why? Because they're ultimately protecting the leader of their pack. Okay. And they're concerned about that. So with that said, I thought about this conversation, and there's so many benefits that a pet, particularly a dog, can have. And you've mentioned so many of them. NIH, National Institute of Health, talks about dogs being able to decrease stress. They decrease cortisol levels, which is what stress comes from. You mentioned high blood pressure. I happen to have high blood pressure. When I take my high blood pressure, take it at home, unfortunately, even with medication, it's often elevated. So I started testing something out. I started to pet my dog while I did my blood pressure. And then I wouldn't pet her, and then I would do the blood pressure reading. And each time when I was just petting and stroking her, my levels were normal. Not even just decreased, they were normal. And I tried to explain this to my traditional doctor. He kind of chuckled, but it's real stuff. It's real stuff. They help with those kind of things. They improve heart health. They help kids with social emotional skills. Dogs are being utilized in our society, becoming so intricately a part of our society. So for example, children who may have difficulty reading, they're bringing dogs in where children can read to the dogs, and the dogs are unassuming. They're not judging you, not chuckling you if you missed a word because you couldn't get that word correctly. They're there. The child can pet the dog. It's calming, and they're increasing their reading skills. Dogs are therapy dogs. They're children and adults even who may be in the hospital for long term, and they're getting treatment, and that can be very, very depressing. They're bringing in dogs to help. Hey, this is our therapy session with the dog, to provide a calmness, to provide an outlet, to provide something off of your own pain. Say, hey, let me engage here. Dogs are utilized in other workforce areas too. If you have a pest control issue, dogs are often used to come and sniff out, this home is infested, this home is not infested. It's pretty kind of cool, but that's a working dog. They get paid to do that, right? You have dogs who are working, of course, with finding bodies. We know that. There are dogs who are serving in the military. Dogs who are service dogs, if you have seizures, they can feel the seizure before it happens and warn the owner. There are dogs that can jump on your chest and help. If you're having a heart attack, can at least hold you off until the ambulance, because they can jump on your chest and cause a type of compression. So dogs can be very, very intricate besides a cute little puppy that we have to feed and pick up the poop. And they can be helpful in providing what we like to call a quality of life, right? A quality of life. And there's research, some of it fairly new, but there's research to support that. And so one of the things I like to always say, and I'll kind of round off with this, is that I had a coworker say to me one time, who she didn't like dogs. It wasn't her thing, and that's fine. But she made this comment, and I realized that she probably isn't alone. Some people just may not be able to understand this. She said, I just can't understand. I just could not fathom spending money to take care of a dog, to feed a dog. And it repulsed her. You could tell it repulsed her. And I could tell she just never had that experience. No one near her had that experience. And it was a real thought. But it also, in my mind, stemmed from not understanding the benefit and the value that this pet could provide. And God created the animals, right? He created them. And so they have purpose in and of themselves. So they become part of your fabric of your family, fabric of your life. And I like to call it this. They become a part of your ship, your family ship, your friendship, your companionship. They become a part of your ship, right? And so when something happens, whether they get sick or they get lost, or God forbid they get hurt, that's probably when you notice, wow, my ship is tattered. There's something going on. It's rocky on my ship. I'm missing something here. And sometimes, unfortunately, you need that to happen before you can realize the importance that they play. And I've appreciated my pets for that purpose, because they've been a part of my life. They've been with me through difficult times. They've been consistent. And so it's very important to understand how they can be a part of your and to treat them with love and kindness, even if you're not a dog person, not to mistreat. I always teach that to kids. You don't have to like dogs. Don't mistreat intentionally. Here's an example of and I'm ending here. Here's an example of understanding the depth of the relationship, the companionship, the familyship of my pets. I have 2 dogs, as Portia mentioned. One is named Brody, and the other is Jelly Bean. She's sitting down here chilling, not wanting to be seen on the camera, apparently. And I had this unfortunate incident, and you think this will never happen to you, but it did happen to me. I was walking my dogs, and with on leashes, we're doing what we're supposed to do, following the law. And unfortunately, we do have a person in my community who has a history of allowing, not being very, being kind of negligent around the maintenance of their dogs. So these dogs ultimately came out of an unsecure fence and attacked my dogs. And these dogs are pit bulls. And I don't like to decipher between pits because I know they have a bad reputation. But I am going to talk about that because there is a distinction. I have my dogs, one is 16 pounds and one is 8 pounds. Pit bull, thick, muscular, strong, probably 100 pounds or more. And they attacked my dogs, 2 on one and 1 on the other. And without getting too much into the detail, it was extremely traumatic, very, very gruesome. So much so that I literally witnessed what I thought was the murder of my pups because there was no more life in their bodies in this incident. And it went on for a while. Fast forward, in the hospital, here's where your ship begins, what you're going to do. And so when we get sick, we go to the hospital, we go to the doctor, and either we have insurance or we don't, and they bill us because we are human beings, and you gotta be humane to human beings. Pets are optional. And when they get sick, either you pay the bill or you put them down. Even if there's life left, even if they can still make it, but you got to make a decision. And so ultimately, I was placed in that decision. They survived, but it was a rough place. And so I will willingly admit it was a very emotional place, and I was torn and battered and back and forth. And many people have to make this decision, and God forbid I won't have to even now. So ultimately, because I care and because it's been an intricate part of my life, and my dogs have their own little paparazzi too, by the way, I thought after crying and screaming and doing all this stuff, I asked for help, because we all have a tribe. We all have our family. We all have our circle, our pack. This is my pack. And so I asked, hey, people, can you help me in my pack? And if you can, great. If you can't, that's okay too. Can you pray for me in my pack? And I've been overwhelmed with the response, because I made a decision, if we can, and I know he has life left in him, let's work to help him. And it's in these moments that I realize, man, this is the benefits of having companionship, familyship, those kind of things in your life through the pet, because they've given so much. You haven't. It's the definition of love. You want to give back unselfishly. So, I've had that incident, but here's where I am optimistic because of the love of others who thought it not robbery to acknowledge me and my pack to help us through this process. And so my 2 dogs are alive. One is here. She's doing well. She's healing well. She's skittish because of the outside means different to her now, but she'll work through it. And my other dog is getting his work done. It has been a long journey, but we're believing that because he still has so much vibrancy, even with this incident, it's crazy. that he'll work through that, and we'll take it one step at a time. But because this is a part of my life, and we do believe in the benefits of the pets, this is the decision that I made. So I encourage all people, and if you're allergic, not even just dog, I'm a dog person, but there's research that talks about guinea pigs and other pets as well. Having something that you have to give yourself to, outside of your world doesn't revolve around yourself, and you can have that unconditional exchange. It's healthy, mentally, physically, socially. So I encourage us, try it, get a pet, fish, something. That's my spiel. That's my spiel.
I tell you, bravo to you. I tell you, this is amazing how a four-legged friend
Yes.
can help you with emotions, your health, all of that that you mentioned.
Yes.
Oh, so when did this trauma occur? Because I think it was recently.
It was very recent. The 30th of August, it was the last of August. And that's when the actual attack occurred. And I was able to take them to the hospital, and I thought that we were home trying to let these wounds heal. But unfortunately, the intensity of the attack and the injury level for my other dog is pretty extensive. Really should not have survived it. Really should not have survived.
So so Brody is still at the hospital, the veterinarian.
Yes, he actually, he part of what's going on is the first week he did come home, I had to take him back because he wasn't healing well. They kept him for about 3 days. And so now he's in an outpatient type of treatment where he has to come back repeatedly to have more treatment. So today he was back and he had another treatment. I'm going to pick him up again, but he'll be back on Monday. And hopefully each visit will be able to stretch out the time he has to go back, because we're hoping to see positive progress in the healing of those wounds. So positively speaking, what's good is he doesn't have to come back until Monday, which says they trust he can do 2 days, which is good. That means we're already at a couple of days spans, because at first it was come in every day to have that done. I was like, oh my goodness. So yes, he's in the hospital, but he'll be picked up and has to go back for more treatment as we go.
Wow. Wow. Now I guess people can hardly believe you're putting your finances, or it's just like a child. You put your finances in child, you invest in your child, because that's love, that's care. How can our audience help you? What is your cash app, so that
Sure.
those that have a dog, those that have a pet, those that have a fish, the connection, whether it's with you or if it's with your child, how that animal, whatever the animal is, or whatever the
Yes.
pet is, the effect that they have on your child, your husband, your wife, someone with a mental condition. How they help and assist and enhance the lives of individuals. So the love and care piece. So
Yeah.
if you have it in your heart to support, I can't even imagine 3 pit bulls attacking your dog.
Yeah.
I can't really fathom. I can't even imagine 1, let alone 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I encourage our audience to give out of your heart. And if almost every household has a dog or some type of pet. So would you consider sharing, tagging someone else with this video, with this broadcast, that has an animal or a pet that would support Dinahsta, that would support Brody, that would support Jelly? Is it Jelly Bean or Jelly?
Yes, Jelly Bean.
Jelly
We
Bean.
call her Jelly. Yep.
Okay. So it's amazing what if you have it in your heart to do it, someone else can actually tag someone else, and someone else can tag someone else, and someone else.
Yes.
It goes on. Remember, Project 365 is all about hope, encouragement, and inspiration shared across the whole world, nationally and internationally. So we are grateful to God to have this opportunity to bring support, encouragement, and inspiration to Dinahsta, to Brody, and to Jelly Bean. Is it bean
Yes.
with the M or N? Bean or beam?
Bean, like the candy.
Bean.
Jelly
Mhm.
bean.
Jelly.
That is so cute. I can honestly say that because I am a dog lover as well. I've had 3 dogs so far in my lifetime. And we'll get to that in a minute, but I can truly say that dogs really do. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love, animals are cool, but for a pet that I would actually own, a dog is also my preference. And pets really do bring joy to their owners. They bring joy, they bring security, they bring support. Working at the airport, we have a lot of people who want to bring their pets as emotional support.
Yeah.
They've had to cut back on that though, because
they
some
did.
people try to take advantage. They're like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
my huge iguana needs to go with me on the plane as emotional support. We're like, sir, you're gonna have to put that underneath the plane, but and also before I continue, just to anyone that may watch this that is a pet lover, a dog lover, when you are flying, Dinahsta, you may know, like, pets really are like children. They're expensive. You have to pay to have your pet on the plane. It's very expensive, no matter what airline you're with. But it really it always bothers me because, especially in the summertime when it's hot, you can't put a pet or an animal underneath the plane at a certain temperature.
Yeah.
And you'll be very surprised at the families and pet owners that I have to they're arguing. They think they're arguing with me, but I'm talking to them about how, well, I need to fly today and my pet has to go under the plane. I'm like, well, sir, it's 100 degrees outside, which means it's going to feel like 120 on the plane. And, we can't say, your pet won't make the trip, but we have to imply, like, we do this for the safety of your pet. So anyone that's watching, if you encounter that, please don't, we're not trying to harm you and your pet or inconvenience you, but it's all about the health and safety of your pet. And there's so many pet owners, who love, I do that love in quotation marks, love their animal, because I can imagine you, Dinahsta, if I'm saying to you, hey, you have to take a later time because it's too hot for your pet. And you're like, no, put her under there anyway. Like, no, who does that? I'm like, come on, guys, let's be thoughtful about the pets here. They're actual living things, but I can honestly attest that, animals really, really do help. And Miss Portia, I know you're not a dog owner, but if you had a cute little dog, you never know. I'm telling you, never know. But it is like a child. Oh my goodness.
It is.
Especially in the beginning and in those training phases, going to the bathroom outside, and it's like you have a kid. So I don't know, maybe you don't want one. But yeah, so the dogs I've had, you have little dogs. I've had big dogs all my life.
Okay.
So I had a Chow Chow. I had a Pressa Canary. So that was like a whole person. So and the Pressa
It's a
actually
horse.
Because you've seen him. Brick. His name was Brick.
Oh my gosh.
But he was beautiful, and he was one of the best dogs I've ever had. And it really was like having another person in our family. And unfortunately he was killed, but him being so big, it was like I have a sibling in the house with me, and then I had a red-nosed pit bull, and I can tell you Rocco was something else. He was a cuddly little thing and just really not needy, but he just wants to be around people all the time.
Yeah.
But, I would encourage, dog lovers, keep taking care of your dog, invest in your dogs, because, when you have to lose a dog, it's such a hard thing, which is why I don't have a dog anymore right now, because even though I love them so much, I don't want to lose another one. It was like losing a friend or losing a family member. So I'm like, I'm just going to wait maybe till I'm a little older to get another one. But support Dinahsta. I cannot believe that your dogs have gone through this. And you're very strong as well, because it's very hard to have to watch something like that and feel helpless in that moment. So I'm very happy that your dog survived. I'm praying that their health and their healing will be, tremendous for you guys. And like I will put her Cash App in the comment section so you can donate if you want to. But if you are thinking about getting a pet, just think about it. It's a great addition. And there are a lot of animals that need to be rescued.
A
So
lot.
yeah.
You can even reach out to me on Facebook if you want to talk through it, if you're considering, because I remember making list pros and cons when I decided, to start getting pets or whatever. My dream is to do a rescue of my own. So, and I'm often stopped on the street. Strangers I don't know why you ask me, what do I look like, a dog person to you? And giving them feedback about resources to help you if you're having difficulty financially, to help. So I'm that person. I'm not a cat lady. I'm more of a dog lady. So if you wanted to talk through it, and reach out, I'll help you talk through it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the broadcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Let me just share this one thing. I think about the strength that you gain through doing something that's medical, some type of medical assistance that you had to render to the pups.
Yeah.
So kind of speak on that, where you have to, even though it was a dog situation with you, but naturally it was a situation where you had to press through.
Yeah, that's a great thing to talk about, Portia. I appreciate that. It was definitely that pressing through. Bringing them home from the hospital, or from the veterinary hospital the first week. I was tasked with, of course, medication management, and medication management for us, I guess it's kind of simple. You throw it back, hold your nose, or whatever. But trying to get a dog to take something that they don't want to take, they don't feel well, they're ouchy, trying to get it in the mouth. You don't want to get bit, because if they're hurting, they're not trying to hurt you. They just want to tell you, hey, I'm hurting, don't touch me there. So that was very difficult. And I don't want to hurt them. So I'm like, but I got to get this medicine. And I was battling between, do what you have to do, Dinahsta, to make it happen, and they're going to be all right with a little pain. But the other part that was extremely difficult, and it's still kind of challenging, was literally treating those wounds while he was home with me, with simply as hot compresses and cleaning them. But what was happening for me, because I had to take pictures and I'm constantly looking at them, or is it infected? I'm cleaning them, and it was hourly. It wasn't like every 3 hours. It was constant. I'm reliving the situation every time, because I'm looking, and I'm saying, and literally flashes of the attack is happening. So it was extremely difficult from an emotional standpoint, but I knew that I had to still do it. So, I'd have the moment and just continue to hold or clean. And on top of that, it's funny, but not so funny. People don't know this about me, but I literally, I didn't know I could go to college. I thought we didn't have no money. So I signed up for the military. I actually enlisted in the military. Never was my choice. I didn't want to do it. It was under duress. That's a whole other story. Have me back on for another story. But, and they told me I could do these other things in the military. But when I got to the base for the exam, basically you can do nursing. Women do nursing. And I was like, that's not what they told me. I don't want to do nursing. And I remember saying, I can't even do blood. I can't do this. I can't, the needle, I'm over here, I don't do blood. So here I am. I was like, God, look at me. I'm cleaning these wounds. And love has a way to mature you, grow you, help you do things that you didn't think you have the strength to do. So, and no, it's a dog, but hey, these dogs there's some principles that God has taught me through these dogs. And one of them is, the power of love. So
It's amazing. God speaks in all kinds of ways. In all situations, we have to see God in them. That is amazing. One more time, Dinahsta, what is your Cash App? And we will also post it in our comment section.
Sure. My Cash App is $Kiane Inc., or that's KIANEINK. That's my Cash App. It's like Diane with a K, Inc., like writing.
Gotcha. So can you share briefly about your nonprofit organization and tag on a little about being the poet and that you know it?
Yes, most definitely. I am a poet and a note. I have two businesses. One of them is Kiane Healing in the Pen. That's for profit, and it very much like 365 and Trophy of Life. Our purpose is to foster hope, healing, and social change through poetry and spoken word. But I've started a nonprofit 2 years ago called the Inkwell Project. The Inkwell Project, all one word. You can follow us on social media, Instagram, as well as Facebook at the Inkwell Project. And the Inkwell Project, or the Inkwell, is designed, right, to facilitate hope, awareness, and self-love through creative expression, through guided reflection. I do a lot of workshopping using creative writing. You don't have to be a poet like me, but you can write, or you can think, then you could be a part of this. And using creative expression to non-threateningly, we're not in the therapy office, but begin to really process some things, whether that's trauma, mild trauma. I'm not a therapist. I don't claim to be that, but to process those things, to journal through those things, to get these places of awareness. Like I've talked about today, the dogs, I'm like, it caused me to be aware about something. We can use writing to bring us to these places of awareness. It's great for young people, specifically our target audiences is youth and young adults, because ideally, for me, I was a kid who suffered a lot of loss early in the game and was headed in the wrong direction. And it was poetry, it was journaling, it was writing that saved me. And I remember thinking, if that could do it for me, how about the other children who are experiencing whatever they're experiencing? Our children are cutting because they're trying to relieve their pain. They are maybe engaging in illicit drugs. Some of our children are experiencing different things, body image issues or what have you, whatever maybe you're not experiencing any of those things, but you just want to build your confidence. This is what with a guided person, that's myself and other facilitators, with our guided writing prompts, it helps to build confidence, helps to build awareness, making us more ready for higher levels of healing. And so even with a situation like the attack of the dog or of the dogs, yes, I've been experiencing some stuff. So guess what? Maybe I may fall back into the writing to help me process those things. So the Inkwell Project, social media, Instagram and Facebook, also Kiane Inc., which is the same as the Cash App, also social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Follow, like, share, find out what we're doing, find out how you can get involved, maybe volunteer, and we'd love to have you a part of our subscriber list.
Great, wonderful, great information, great share,
Thank you.
great message of hope, encouragement, and inspiration. Takira, are you good?
I am good, and I've added that information into the comment section.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Dinahsta, taking the time out to share. We want you to know that we're grateful to God to be of service to you. Project 365 is here for you, for those under the sound of my voice, and in view of this particular platform, we say thank you for joining us, and we shall see you tomorrow at what time, Takira?
1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.